The fourth plenum has just ended, and People's Daily published 3 signed articles by top leaders. Kai Chi's 8,000-character essay struck a hard tone, followed in succession by pieces from Li Chang and Wang Huning. Meanwhile, Beijing's officialdom has seen a chain of personnel moves. Gang was removed, Wang Jianjun fell, putting finance, the CPPCC, and the military on edge across the board. The storm is only beginning. Don't miss the next drop, subscribe and hit the bell. Beijing's air has turned unusual again. Right after the fourth plenum, People's Daily ran 3 consecutive days of signed articles by top leaders. On October 30th, Premier Li Chang; on October 31st, CPPCC Chairman Wang Huning; and on November 3rd, the finale by Central Office Director Kai Chi. 3 articles, 1 theme: studying and implementing the spirit of the fourth plenum. But from tone to timing, the cadence read more like a political combination punch, not propaganda, but mobilization. Especially Kai Chi's 8,000-character-long essay, persistently advancing full and rigorous party governance, which radiates a chill between the lines. He bluntly writes of a grim situation, some cadres showing signs of slackening, and the 4 forms of decadence not yet rooted out. Each sentence reads like underlining, and like a warning. Many believe this piece is not routine signaling, but the opening act of a top-down self-rectification. Coincidentally, or not, just before and after the article, Beijing saw a string of jolts. On November 1st, the CPPCC Standing Committee session closed, and former PBOC Governor Gang along with several CPPCC leaders were removed from posts. 2 days later, on November 3rd, CSRC Vice Chairman Wang Jianjun was announced to have committed serious violations of discipline and law, expelled from the party and dismissed from public office. The clustered dates and relay-style tone instantly tightened the capital's power circle. Some say this is Xi Jinping's camp redeploying forces, some think it's only the prelude beneath a calm surface and that the real contest is just starting. Others say the essay is a tocsin, reminding all, the real test lies ahead. The opening of a power cold wave. On November 3rd, People's Daily ran on page 3 a signed article by Kai Chi, director of the CCP Central Committee General Office and a Secretariat Secretary, titled Persistently Advancing Full and Rigorous Party Governance. The lengthy piece, nearly 8,000 characters, reasserts the importance of the so-called self-revolution on 3 levels. First, that full and rigorous governance of the party is the fundamental guarantee for the historic achievements and transformations of the new era. Second, that changing tasks and circumstances impose new requirements. Third, that anti-corruption is an endless journey and must be continued. Kai states plainly that more than a decade into Xi's tenure, despite notable results, some party members and cadres still hold wrong ideas about the party's self-revolution. There are sentiments of resting, shrinking from difficulties, responding passively, even deliberate resistance, and he emphasizes that the 4 forms of decadence, formalism, bureaucratism, hedonism, and extravagance, have had their trees felled but roots remain, the soil still exists. By pairing grim situation with rigorous governance, the piece shows the fourth plenum did not bring easing. On the contrary, it signals the opening of another round of rectification and disciplinary review. 3 blows in a row, Zhang Nanhai's rhythm. After the plenum, People's Daily published on October 30th and 31st signed essays from Premier Li Chang and CPPCC Chairman Wang Huning. After skipping the weekend, it ran Kai Chi's piece today. Taiwan's Central News Agency viewed them as a series on studying and implementing the spirit of the 20th Central Committee's fourth plenum. Kai Chi is both a core figure in the propaganda apparatus overseeing ideology and Xi's most trusted aide. The timing and tone of his article are clearly more than routine positioning, they amount to a high-pressure signal to the entire party. Some netizens say, the internal bloodletting has begun. YouTuber, Chef Jianjun and Crookedmouth Political Economy likewise argues the piece bristles with killing intent, broadcasting the start of internal infighting. It serves as a shelling the headquarters maneuver, portending a sweeping purge under the banner of rigorous party governance, upgrading the campaign. There's also a view that Kai's sword points at Zhang Yoxia, that the article is a counterstrike by Xi's faction against Zhang's. On the eve of the plenum, the Ministry of National Defense suddenly announced the double expulsion of CMC Vice Chair He Weidong, CMC member Miao Hua, and 7 other full generals, figures personally promoted or fast-tracked by Xi. Miao Hua in particular had long been Xi's trusted personnel czar in the military. Some commentators think this was an over-the-top move by CMC Vice Chair Zhang Youxia, acting first and reporting later, to turn Xi's confidence into criminal cases, thereby weakening Xi's control of the armed forces. As Xi's close ally, Kai's post-plenum piece indicates that although Xi suffered a major setback in military control, he has not wholly lost ground and still has the capacity to counterattack under the banner of strict party governance, preparing to use a fresh purge to reconsolidate his core position. The warning in a million cadre tally. The brutality of intra-party struggle also shows up in freshly released numbers. After the plenum, the CCDI/State Supervisory Commission posted anti-corruption stats for the first 9 months of 2025. Nationwide, 789,000 cases were opened, 90 provincial and ministerial level cadres were investigated, along with 3,704 at bureau level, 31,000 at county division level, and 106,000 at township section level. 72,000 were village party secretaries or village committee directors. Over the same period, 677,000 people received party discipline or administrative penalties, 41 at provincial level, 2,953 at bureau level, 24,000 at county level, 84,000 at township level, 90,000 general cadres, and a whopping 476,000 among grassroots and public institution personnel. In other words, in just the first 9 months of 2025, more than 1 million people were investigated, questioned, or punished, over 3,000 cadres a day on average. Plainly, this is not merely anti-corruption data, it's a power ledger, displaying a massive internal house cleaning, organizational shock therapy via punishment as integration. It also underscores that the CCP is the world's largest corruption institution. Beneath the anti-graft banner, the deeper logic is power reallocation, who investigates whom, and who escapes investigation. That's the core of this purge. An earthquake in financial power. As the plenum closed, Beijing's financial saw fresh turbulence. On November 3, Xinhua announced that former CSRC party committee member and vice chairman Wang Jianjun committed serious violations of discipline and law and was expelled from the party and public office. Also, double expelled that day were former Sichuan vice chair of the Provincial People's Congress Song Zhaohua and former NDRC vice chairman Su Xianping. All three were transferred for prosecution. According to the CCDI website, Wang fed off the sector he regulated, long leveraging office for family and favored firms, trading power for money during listings and financings, and taking huge illicit bribes, typical of cases combining political and economic problems. Wang's fall is not isolated. At only 57, he spent his career in securities regulation, from head of market regulation and chief of staff, to SCSE chairman, and finally CSRC vice chair, witnessing the arc of China's capital market oversight. His double expulsion came right after his old boss, former CSRC chair Yi Huiman, was officially brought down. On September 6, 2025, the CCDI announced he was under investigation for serious violations. Yi's two predecessors, Xiao Gang and Lu Xiyu, were also removed or fell while in office. Two vice-ministerial finance regulators in quick succession. This is not about a few bad apples but a systemic power purge. Financial regulation is seen as the CCP's second central nervous system. From the PBOC to the banking, insurance and securities watchdogs, each link touches colossal capital flows and policy levers. Amid economic slowdown and swelling debt risk, whoever controls regulatory discourse holds strategic initiative. Thus the real target of this round is to reset the rules, who decides and who obeys, Beijing's real problem set. At the same time, the CPPCC Standing Committee's 14th session, 14th term, that closed on November 1 brought rare personnel changes. Former PBOC Governor Yi Gang was removed as Vice Director of the CPPCC Economic Committee. Also removed were 9 figures including former Guangdong CPPCC Chair Wang Rong and former Taiwan Affairs Office Deputy Director Chen Yuanfeng. No reasons were given. Hong Kong Sing Tao Daily noted that retired vice-ministerial officials typically hold CPPCC special committee leadership roles. Mid-term removals are rare. Ousting 9 at once is unprecedented. Symbolically, the same meeting also removed former Organization Department Vice Minister Fu Xingguo and accepted his resignation as member. This remove first, resign later technique is typical for handling problematic but controllable officials, achieving cleanup while preserving face and surface stability. Seen this way, the purge is a methodical political project, financial anti-corruption is the bright surface, power redistribution is the core. The CPPCC shuffle and the naked officials thread. Hong Kong and overseas Chinese media widely cite sources linking the 9 removals to the renewed clampdown on naked officials, cadres whose spouses/children have emigrated and assets are offshore, holding an escape hatch. After the 18th Party Congress, spouses living abroad or cadres with no spouse but all children living abroad were to be reassigned. Beyond bans on top leaders' immediate families residing overseas, authorities now require children of provincial ministerial officials studying abroad to return within 6 months of graduation or see their parents reassigned. Sing Tao notes that some of the 9 have children settled overseas and unwilling to return. For example, Yi Gang, Sea Turtle, who once taught in the US, has a son born and raised in America, a typical ABC. Recently ousted Shanghai Vice Mayor Lu Duo is rumored to have been removed because her children refused to return. Lu, an internet/AI expert and former head of Caked and MIT's S&T Bureau, was parachuted into Shanghai as vice mayor in 2021. Official notices did not state reasons. That they'd rather lose posts than force relatives back reflects a broader belief inside the system that the regime has reached a dead end. Naked officials are not new. As far back as 2005, Central Party school professor Lin Zhe estimated at least 1 million officials had family abroad. Who can exit intact? Post-plenum moves show discipline inspection shifting from pure anti-corruption toward a combined anti-escape and risk control cleanup. Compared to the early tigers and flies, this round looks more like systemic screening, not targeting specific cases so much as achieving political purification through institutional adjustments. Phrases like normalizing promotion and demotion and tenure handover systems hint the organization department will expand control over cadre mobility. Looking at the chain of events in the first week of November, the real Beijing agenda after the plenum is not policy tweak, but power reconsolidation. Kai Chi's essay provides the ideological frame. The Wang Jianjun case and the CPPCC removals are implementation examples. The ultimate trajectory likely goes beyond mere loyalty into an internal free-for-all from which few can emerge unscathed.